in the name of good timing or convenience, but they are thin veils for a deeper truth. We fear.
I don't think I can.
What if I can't?
I've never been good enough.
So we stall.
I'll think about it more.
You'll do that 2 months from now.
Right. If I can postpone it, I can get ready.
Yet we only really get one now, which we sacrifice for later.
I had that idea once.
I missed my chance.
If I had only stepped up.
No opportunity waits. Leap into your now.
Yeah, so now has a different meaning. So when we procrastinate, we're putting off doing things now. But as they say, now means no opportunity waits. So according to research, 20%, and listen to that, 20% of the population are considered true and chronic procrastinators. Now, what happens is that chronic procrastinators often suffer from broken marriages. Yeah, I'm going to work on it. Yes, man, I'm going to spend more time with my wife. When I have my clients, we have in our default diary a thing called date night. Because anything you give your time to is important. So when we say we care about our marriages, we care about our kids, and we actually delay and keep putting off the spending the time, it can lead to broken marriages. Working on things that you shouldn't be doing, improving yourselves can lead to lost jobs, deflated dreams and hopes. One day I will. Financial disarray, not saving, not spending less than you make. And it ultimately results in self-esteem issues because eventually you begin to feel, worthless. And these are serious issues. And folks, while putting off that task that you have been dreading may seem harmless, as I said before, it can lead to severe consequences. And let's look at some of the telltale signs. So there are many signs of procrastination. And here is a list of the common telltale signs that you may be a chronic procrastinator. One of them, you have difficulty coping with change and transitions. You're lost without a roadmap. You are chronically late. Your to-do list is never ending. And this is one that I look at with business owners. You focus on non-essential office work. So instead of, we have a thing called Eat the Frog. All our clients know it. They have a action diary list. And the first thing you're to do is the most important task. Eat that frog, that thing that you know is going to give you the results you know you need to get done. But what we do is procrastinate, keep putting it off until the end of the day, and then it doesn't get done. What do we tend to do then? Focus on non-essential office work. Like, let me just access all the mail in my inbox. Let me look at all the social media. Let me chat to everybody on the floor first. Non-essential office work, which is the not important and not urgent, is what we focus on instead of what needs to get done. And for business owners, we call this the important but not urgent, the working on the business, working on the marriage, working on yourself, the important, but it may not be urgent. And what we tend to do is focus on the urgent, but not the important. And the danger of this now is that, and the challenge as well, is that overprocrastination can be challenging because we all have different reasons for doing it. Every one of you We had almost 100 people sign up for this webinar. And why? Because the topic immediately resonated. Yes, I need to overcome this. But for each of us, our reasons are different. So I want to look at what are some of the common reasons for procrastination. And what I want you to be doing this morning, let's make, anything you give your time to, you give your life to. So for the time that you have with me this morning here, you're giving me a piece of your life. And I want you to be intentional about it. Why did you come onto this call? So what I want you to look at is, as we go through some of the common reasons for procrastination, I want you to think about what are mine. And then when you're thinking about them, what I also want you to do is, if there are other reasons that you have procrastinated, type them in the chat so that other people can see, right? So that together we're going on this journey. Why are we all procrastinating? And the first one, especially, I don't know if many of you know about disc profiling. And it's a behavioral profiling. And, it's a predictor of your future behavior: dominant, influential, stable or steady, and compliant. And one of the things with a compliant disease behavioral profile is a fear of making mistakes, perfectionism, dotting the I's and crossing all the T's, and can't go forward unless I have all the information and it's absolutely perfect. And doing that fear of making mistakes, and also for the S's too, because they don't like to be criticized. That fear of making mistakes is real. And it can cause us to put off important obligations for another day. Yeah, man, next week, next month, I soon deal with it. Perfectionism may seem like a good quality. However, it can be quite detrimental, especially if you're in a leadership role as a high C. Because what that means is that sometimes, because you're trying to wait to have every single piece of detail before you make a decision, you hold back your company, you hold back your team, and you miss opportunities. So sometimes perfectionism is often confused with having high standards. However, with perfectionism, standards are sometimes often unrealistic. And procrastination occurs as a result of thinking that such a standard will never even be achieved. When you set this thing upon a pedestal, and so because you just don't think I'll ever be able to reach that standard, why even try? So what are you afraid of? Because that is it. Fear is a deeply rooted cause of procrastination when you look at it. And it can be from the fear of failure and what people are going to say, or because I don't like to feel the feelings that I have, to the fear of success. Oh my God, if I succeed, can I manage it? People are going to now know me more. I'm going to have to putting myself out there. Can I really handle all this success? And that fear can be crippling. And for some of you, you may know that, that fear acronym means false expectations appearing real. We think of things and we're going to this, what is, and this is what could happen, and what if this happened, and you go into, and what you actually do is you bring the fears and the feelings of what could happen into the present. And it don't happen yet, nothing has happened yet, but you think of everything that could happen. You go through all the emotions that you would feel if it happened, and you bring it into the present, and you become overcome with the emotions and the agitation and the pessimism, and then you just go into paralysis. So for many, the idea of failure can be devastating. Now, you know, we're business coaches and we are leadership coaches and we do team coaching as well. And so when we're in business, a lot of us don't risk as leaders doing things, taking our businesses to the next level, change, because the idea of failure can be devastating. And this stems from a view of failure as a final result rather than a stepping stone. You know, I'm a John Maxwell leadership coach as well. And one of the things he said is that failure is not something to be afraid of. He says sometimes we win, don't use the word fail. He said sometimes we win and sometimes we learn. Thomas Edison, when he created the light bulb on his 10,000th attempt, he said, I didn't fail. All those attempts over the years, I didn't fail. He said, I simply learned 9,999 ways how not to make a light bulb. So what we have to look at is that fear, that view of failure as a final result. Remove that. It is simply a stepping stone. You learn from them. Brad Sugars, Action Coach founder, he said, the only failure is a failure to participate. Every day we get up, we have to try something new. Sarah Blakely of Spanx, she said, youngest self-made woman billionaire. You know, those Spanx things that all of us ladies put on so we look back nice and smooth onto the fancy dresses. And one thing she said when she was interviewed by CNN is that her father said, every day, Sarah, get up and fail at something. And every time she'd come home from school, he'd ask, what did you fail at today? What he was trying to do is let them understand that failure is not something to be afraid of. We have to try new things. That's how we grow. So failure sometimes is seen as a permanent stain on one's reputation. Lord have mercy, everybody saw when I feel like this, and I want you to understand, nobody really looking at you, everybody is too absorbed with themselves. So half the time that you're wondering what everybody's thinking about you, let me tell you, they're not thinking about you at all. They're thinking about themselves, because that's what we focus on most, ourselves. And so that thing of worrying about this failure is a permanent stain on my reputation then causes our self-esteem to take a significant blow every time an objective isn't achieved. And you're going to have many of those. So we need to understand that what we're doing is putting ourselves under a lot of pressure. Now, on the flip side, many procrastinators are fearful of success. And success can also create a lot of pressure because of the perceived expectations that, if I succeed, I have to keep succeeding. People are expecting it of me. So I have to achieve more. And the idea of people demanding more of you after you achieve something can cause many of us to sabotage potential success by procrastinating. So fear is a deeply ingrained emotion, and it can cause people to procrastinate for different reasons. But I want you to understand something. Everything I just said before, is going on between your two ears. Not. All of this is our thinking. More on that later. Now, a lack of motivation. So motivation is related to your expectation. So procrastinators often think that, I must be fully motivated to begin a task. Let me tell you something, that is unrealistic. And in many cases, progress leads to motivation. So I'm going to tell you, it is when you actually start to make the steps, and you start to get the little successes or you reach little milestones, that leads to motivation. And so sometimes, even when you're not fully motivated or fully on top of the world to say, okay, yes, I'm going to begin. Sometimes just beginning causes your motivation to increase. So I want you to understand, even if, I think John Maxwell says sometimes what we have to do is actually do the things and then the feelings will come. You actually have to start, but many of us are waiting for the feelings before we start. He said start and the feelings would follow, right? So we just start moving. Yes, motivation is important, but we need to just get into action. That's why we're called action coach and not thinking coach. Now, let's look at the lack of interest. So we're all guilty of delaying or avoiding tasks that we find unappealing. I'm going to tell you something, one of my mentors is Darren Hardy. And Darren is just an amazing guy, Success Magazine, fame, wrote the book Compound Effect. And he said, let me tell you something. A lot of times, half of the things, more than 90, at least 90% of what I do, I don't like doing. I'm not really interested in doing them, but I do it because it allows me to do the 10% of what I do. And that 10% of what I do has the biggest impact. So a lot of us are guilty of delaying or avoiding the tasks we find unappealing. And guys, there are going to be many things to find unappealing. However, if everyone put off the things they didn't want to do, nothing would ever get accomplished. How many of you like changing your children's diapers? Trust me. Leave it. Make it stay there for a while and see what happens. Putting out the garbage, it has to be done. So from changing the diapers to filing the paperwork, there are many jobs we all wish to avoid. But I'm going to tell you, when you avoid doing them, it creates more work and heightens the stress. Then you know what happened? Lord, my list just keep growing. And the to-do list just keep getting longer and longer. And when you look at the to-do list and it's getting longer and longer, you feel even more stressed. So it's just a never-ending cycle. So as business owners and leaders, what are some of the common things that you put off? Type in the chat. Come on, tell the truth. What are some of the things? Me know for some of them, I said to you, have weekly team meetings. Oh, coach, yes. I had some sessions with some business owners. Do you have a will? No. I talk to you. I come back again 3 months later on. You have the will in place yet? No. You see what I'm saying? We're focusing on all the other things. I say to you, make sure that you know your numbers. Get your financials together. Understand how to read your income statement. Do that. You do it yet? No, coach. So what are some of the things that you are putting off? Let me see some. Matthew says, report. See there, Tesmon, doing the financials. Mahalia, purchasing capital equipment. Tesmon, writing the business plan. Charmaine, filing. Catherine, paperwork. See that? All of you. Position contracts. Yes, Miss Bernadette. Keela, quotations. Yep. We know what they are. So, folks, we have to identify first of all. Now, there's a thing called distractions. You start something and then somebody distraction. I want to say to you, you see this thing here? Yes, man. iPhone, every time they come out with another new device and we get all, yeah, man, and distract. Let me tell you something. Our phones are one of the biggest distractions for us. We are all faced with these modern day distractions, from email and social media to games. Everything is now at our fingertips. And again, my favorite mentor, Darren Hardy, and he has a program called Insane Productivity. And one of the things he says, listen, man, what we have learned to do is to turn off the devices. One of the things he said is even put them in another room. My phone right now, the only sound or notification, the only sound it makes is to ring. And the only notification that comes up on my phone, and I've allowed to come up because I put all other notifications to none, is if I have an appointment. Nothing else. Because before this, every minute, because they allow these things on these devices, my sister is like every WhatsApp, ping, 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 and all I'm hearing is pinging around me, and I'm driving. I'm like, aren't you distracted by this constant noise? And then because it pings, what do we feel? Oh my God, I have to reach for, I have to check. And then what you do is you stop what you're doing to be distracted. So folks, don't let distractions get the best of you, right? So one of the things we're going to have to work on is change, right? Changing, first of all, your mindset. Folks, we are actually doing it to ourselves, allowing all these things that distract us. You start something, you stop, and before you know it, you have 500 things started and not finished. So now that we have a better understanding of some of the common reasons as to why people procrastinate, we're going to talk about how to overcome those bad habits. So if your tendency to procrastinate is related to your perfectionism because you're a high C, you may need to consider your mindset. No, you can change your mindset, We have a formula for change, just don't come to it. So we can change. But change has to have two things. Do we have the capacity to change? That is the ability. And are we willing to change? So when you learn about your DISC profile, one of the things we always say is, listen, learning your DISC profile is so you understand who you are and what your natural behavior is. So why do you want to learn that? So you can learn how to adapt it. Because that is what we need to do in this fast-paced world. And leaders especially. How can I adapt my behavior to the situation that I'm in, the role I play, and to the people around me? That's what happens with a lot with marriages and with team. When you hear team is an issue, it's because, and I tell you every time I check, what are the issues on a team? Communication, respect, and teamwork. But communication and respect are very tightly bound, and that then results in a lack of teamwork. And what causes communication is because we want to treat everybody the way we want to be treated. But we say in this, treat people the way they want to be treated. You need to understand your team member. You need to understand your partner. You need to understand the people who report to you, your peers. You need to understand how they communicate, how they want to be communicated with. And what we have to do is learn how to adapt, which means we can't have a fixed mindset. So the fear of making mistakes is associated with having a fixed mindset. Now, Carol Dweck, D-W-I-C-K, her book, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, deals with it. And in her work, she explains that those with a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. So those who have a fixed mindset believe that their abilities are set in stone, so they don't try to grow, they don't try to learn, they don't try to develop themselves. So they focus only on their current intelligence, even though it's 20 years ago they acquired that, right? Or talents, they don't try to develop any new ones. I ask some people when I come in and leaders, when was the last time you read a self-development book? When last did you upskill yourself? I read 4 books a month. And I've been doing that since 2010. What other skills have you developed? You're trying to use something that you learned 20 years ago from some degree or some MBA or whatever, and you haven't upskilled yourselves, thinking that more cannot be developed. No, man, I don't to learn anything more. And this mindset can hinder one's ability to grow. That's why I love, when coaching clients come and they say, listen, coach, I want to grow my business. And as Brad said, you can't grow a business, Brad Sugars, remember, founder of Action Coach. And he says, we can't grow a business that is bigger than our thinking. So the first thing we do as coaches is to educate and to help to shift your mindset, shift your thinking, so you can take yourself and your business to another level. So this mindset, if it does not change, can hinder your ability to grow, to learn, and to make positive changes. It all starts here, Jim Rohn, big motivational and self-development expert, says, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So whether you fear, you have to go face your fears. So whether you fear a negative outcome or you fear failure, I want you to grab your pen and paper now. Here are some questions you're going to ask yourself. So whenever you see yourself procrastinating, when you feel procrastination setting in, so you have your pen and paper? All right, ready. First one is you're going to ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Now, I want you to understand that as coaches, what we do is ask a lot of questions. And every time we ask a question, everybody go, Lord, coach, that's so hard for you to think. You're always doing. No, it's time to think. What am I afraid of? That's number one. Two, what is the worst possible consequence that could happen from me doing this thing? What is it? Worst possible consequence that could happen. Third question. What could happen if I just ignore the situation? So what could happen if I ignore it? Then ask yourself, why am I putting this off? Why? What will I gain in the long run by putting this off? What will I gain? How often, I love this one, how often do people actually die from doing this? How often do people actually die? Don't worry, what I'm going to do is, for those of us who attended after this, I will send out, Kim, when she sends the recording, will send out the list of questions again for you. So don't worry about it if you can't type fast. All right. So how often did anybody actually die from doing this thing? Am I trying to convince myself of something that is not true? Am I scared of the process or the result? Can I handle the outcome? Am I trying to protect myself from a certain outcome? Am I actually scared? Or was I just told that this was scary? Yeah. Am I actually scared? Or was I just told this was scary? Somebody tell you that. So we have a thing called a formula for change. And, we use it in our coaching because everyone, if we're going to take our business to the next level, if we're going to come out of our comfort zone, because what happens over time, folks, is that we get settled into things called habits. And then for us to learn new things and to step up to the next level, we're going to have to expand. We didn't say step out of the comfort zone now. We like to use the word expand, because when you learn new things, your comfort zone is expanding. You're growing your base of knowledge and experience. So we say you need to expand it. And so this formula for change goes D times V plus F must be greater than R. And the R, that resistance to change, we spoke about the fear of the outcome, the fear of the rejection. For some of us, is the fear of the process. And for some of us, we're not sure exactly how. What is the process to go through? The fear of loss of control, the fear of losing out, the fear of letting go. Oh my gosh, so many different things. So this formula is powerful. So one of the things we say is to help you to overcome this resistance to change, which starts first here, is you have to identify what exactly am I not happy with? And you know, we're very good at writing down all the list of things we're not happy with, all the dissatisfaction that we have, all the problems with this person, that person, the job, the business, the life, whatever. But then we tend to stay in the dissatisfaction, the pain. But then if I ask, and coaches will ask the question, so what is it you really want? No, that's the vision. So it's not enough to just wallow in the I'm unhappy. But when I have to choose, yes, life is full of choices. Where we are today is a series of choices that we have made. Where we go tomorrow will be as a result of the choices we make as of today. Get with it. So therefore, what, instead of the pain, D times V, vision, what do I want? We have to choose. I said to everybody, law of attraction, you have to ask the universe for what you want. So you need to get clarity on what am I not happy with, but what do I want to have instead? D times V, get clarity around that. That is your why to change. Why do I need to overcome this resistance? Why do I need to overcome this fear of whatever it is to do what I need to do? And then the other one now, let me just put everybody on mute here. I see people unmuting. All right, let me mute now. Right. And so what you now need to do, and that's why I'm never procrastinate, say you want to write a book. Hello, that's me. I'm in the middle of my writing my book. There's some reasons why I have been procrastinating. So I'm talking to myself here too, right? And for some of it is that the skill that you need to do, the financials, whatever it is, you can't do it. And you're procrastinating on the financials. You're procrastinating because you know what the first steps, I don't really know how. I'm not sure what I must do. So what you need to do is go and learn. Go and speak to people who know how. Get the first steps. That will give you the confidence to then overcome the inertia of resistance. So I hope you write down the formula. So get all the information you need. Speak to all the people you need to. But this side of the formula has to be greater than your resistance to change. And unless it is, you will still continue to procrastinate. So we said change the mindset. And the other one now is face the fear. And I said, what are you afraid of? Now, the other thing I want you to be doing is, that to-do list that's been growing, all you know what I'm talking about. Every time, and something, we go to lots of webinars and we go to lots of courses and we just keep learning. Yeah, man, I see a course on this, even the one today. Yes, man, great course on eliminating procrastination. And we have a nice workbook and a notebook and we take notes, man. And you know what we keep doing? We just keep adding all the things that we learned. And then we say, yeah, man, I'm going to do this. And then now the list from all your learning is growing and growing because we're not actually taking action on them. You know what I mean? We're not taking the action. We're just going to seminar after seminar. But as I said to somebody the other day, learning without action is delusion. All right? So we need to actually not just have a to-do list that's growing. And we have a very nice document called the Action Diary List. And Kim, what you can do is drop we're going to send you a PDF copy. that you can use, right? To kind of help you to organize your day. We just give it freely to help you. But you got to take action on it. It's not just another piece of list to do, with all your priorities, and then you don't act on it. But if you need a tool, we'll lend you. We'll give it to you. And in there, you have to add specific deadlines to the to-do list. You can't just have the list just growing. So whenever you say, okay, I'm going to do this, you have to give yourself a deadline. You may even have to calendarize it. I say to everybody, whatever task you're going to do today, don't just put it on the list. Say, look in your hours for the day, because you want to have the same number of hours. And say, okay, what are all the meetings I have? Then in the times that I'm not meeting is when I'm going to have to be able to do the tasks that are on my list. So instead of just having a list that is just growing, put it instead, if I'm going to do this task, if I'm going to review the financials, I'm going to do it at 10 a.m. It goes into your calendar as a meeting with yourself to review the financials. So add a time. Give yourself a deadline. Next week, I'm going to work on it. And I taught somebody this thing that another one of the coaches I've been through to is Brendan Burchard. And one of the things he says is this: work the work when it's time to work the work. We carry everything around in our brain, and that creates a stress. But he says, get it out of your head, put it down, give it a timeline. Deadline has to be done next week. When am I actually going to do it? I'm going to do it next week, Tuesday at 10 a.m., 4 p.m., whatever the time is. And then once I have a time slot for it, I don't think about it again until it is time to do it, and say, work the work when it is time to work the work. Don't make it take up space in your head. I've already put an appointment with myself to do it next week, Tuesday at 10 o'clock. So you have to start to manage your workload. You have to start to manage the things that you say you want to do. So you build a sense. When you have these deadlines, you have these appointments, not just a list of I'm going to do it. Set a time. Then you build a sense of momentum, and you build your self-confidence as you complete your tasks. And it's just the baby steps. Nothing fosters procrastination like having a very big and daunting project. And one of the things we always teach when we say, okay, accomplish your goals. I remember when I was climbing Passage Peak with Coach Arlene back in 2018, I went to Australia, to Hamilton Island, to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Action Coach. And so one of the mornings, the coach says, come. One of the coaches said, let's go and climb Passage Peak. No, it's a massive, is very, very steep. And we're doing it at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I said, so what are we using to light our path? He says, the iPhone. We're going to use the iPhone light, and that's what we're going to use to climb the peak. I said, okay, then. But one of the things he said is, listen, we're going to climb this peak one step at a time. He says, Marcia, as the sun starts to come up, do not look up. Because while we were climbing in the dark with just the spotlight from the phone, all we could see was one step in front of us. So we were climbing one baby step at a time. We can't see anything else. It's pitch black. And when the light came up and we were exhausted, tired, I was tempted to look up, and I looked up and I was like, oh my God, do we really have to go so far up? And he said, don't look up. He said, you can just look up to remember where we're going. Look back down, one step at a time. To avoid becoming overwhelmed and feeling defeated before you even begin. That's why we have 90-day planning. That's why we bring our business owners to our Growth Club planning workshop. And we plan out the next 90 days, and we break it down into months and then into weeks, the tasks that they're going to do, so that they know before the 90 days have begun how we're going to do this. So break down the tough jobs into bite-sized portions to make sure they actually get done. as I think it's Lincoln said that if you need to cut down a tree, I give you 6 hours to cut down a tree. And he says, I spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe and then the last 2 cutting down the tree. And the first 4 hours is simply just breaking down, sharpening the axe. What are all the things I need to do? Making sure I am precise, I am ready, so that when I start, I can smoothly execute. So we need to sit down and break down that big, overwhelming project into the bite-sized portions. And then we just take them one at a time. And as you accomplish each task, each small task, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment. I remember I said you start first and then you get the feelings and then you say, yes, the motivation, and I'm going to keep going. And you begin to see the pieces falling into place as you go along. Now, remember, coming back to the distractions, my favorite device. When it comes to distractions, smartphones are the first thing to blame. How much time that I'm doing Zoom calls with my clients and I ask them to share the screen. And when I look down the bottom, me see like 10 different windows open. And then while I'm talking to them, this bubble is going up and that bubble is going up and this one is chatting and WhatsApp is coming. I'm saying, WhatsApp, not enough on the phone. You have to have it on the computer too. Oh my God. And I'm going, how do you do anything with these constant distractions? So your smartphones and the different apps are the first thing to blame. Now, I want to tell you, if distractions are the cause of your procrastination, then you need to start removing it and only think about the task at hand. And I'm very serious enough, folks. There are many of us women on here, the super women who believe that, yeah, man, we are the queen of multitasking. Yeah, man, we can multitask. So I can do all these things. I'm going to tell you guys, you cannot do 2 mental tasks at the same time. You cannot be on the phone and writing an email. You cannot. You're doing one or the other. And what you are doing when you do that is you stop doing one to do the other. And then you end up wasting time and making mistakes. So that's one, stop the multitasking. And if the distractions are causing you to procrastinate, remove them. So here are some tips. Block certain websites. Now, I'm going to tell you, there are certain things I do not do on my work computer. I don't use it for social, for certain things at all. And then you need to not have certain apps on your phone. Just don't download them. Delete the games and apps on your smartphone that you don't want to, that are distracting you, that are tempting you. Record your temptations and directly address them. Record, don't mean record, mean sit down and write down what are all the temptations and address them one by one. I think Darren had it taught me to, is that he says, when you're working on your laptop, he says, take your phone and actually put it in another room. So when my clients are one of them, Gia, one of the things that she does is when we're going to have a meeting with her and her team, everybody's phone goes into a basket and is put outside. Yeah. Before cell phones, what did we do? What did we do? We had meetings. Okay. So remove yourself from or turn off wireless internet. So if you're just working on a document, turn off the Wi-Fi. Nothing come in if you can't manage yourself. Put your smartphone on airplane mode. I hope you're writing down some of these tips now. You heard me say put the smartphone in another room. I'm repeating it again. Wear noise canceling headphones so you don't get distracted. Unplug your router and close your door. No, some of you may say, no, you can't just manage yourself. Well, unfortunately, guys, history has shown that we can't. So we actually have to start to help ourselves by doing some of these things, right? Now, the most productive people agree that to get ahead, you heard me say, eat the frog. start your toughest task first. That's why on our action diary list, we say eat your frog first. When you complete the biggest part of your workday first, it will give you a serious confidence boost. You know, this morning I'm supposed to do the proposal. I know I need to submit the bid. I need to work on this. But when I get to work, again, I get distracted with the email, the phone calls. Lord, I soon do it. I'll do it later. And the end of the day come and it gone onto the list for the next day. Eat the hardest task first. Eat that frog. The feeling of being productive can carry you into the next task. And having that hardest job complete, the rest of your work will feel easy. I'm telling you guys, you know. So when you look out for the Eat the Frog list from Kim, or Kim, what you can even do is even drop it into the chat in the meantime, so some people can immediately download it. But you got to eat that frog first. And trust me, get it out of the way. Now, here's the other one. I like this one. The 2-minute rule. You know, it's just a psychological trick. When faced with a task that you just really don't want to do, thinking of it only for 120 seconds becomes manageable. No matter how tough the work might be. The idea of facing it head on for, let me just spend 2 minutes on it. I'm only going to do 2 minutes first. I'm only going to think about this for 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes can relieve a ton of pressure. And trust me, chances are that just getting started and you telling yourself, I'm just going to work on it for 2 minutes, before you know, you're going to keep going longer than the 2 minutes. But if you just tell yourself, I only have to work in those 2-minute increments, you're much more likely to dive in. But when you look at it and say, I'm going to have to spend an hour on it, or no, just 2 minutes. Just download the income statement. And then I can look at it afterwards. But let me just get started on it, you know? Now, hold yourself accountable. Now, you know, this is why many people come to us as coaches, because they can't hold themselves accountable. As many of us know, as business owners, who are we accountable to? Not a soul, unless you have a board that is really active and you have board meetings and is holding you accountable. So this is a big one. Accountability can be a significant motivator or demotivator when it's lacking. I want to say this again. Let me just bring this concept out again, the concept of time. You know, each of us, according to the Bible, we say we may get 70, call it 20. It's 80 years. And every single day, a piece of your life is going. Every day. Every day you wake up and you get 24 hours. And how you use that 24 hours is your choice. You make choices in that day. But understand that at the end of the day, another day in your life has gone. So you need to hold yourself accountable and recognize that time is not waiting on you. It is passing no matter what. So creating to-do lists can be okay for some people to hold themselves accountable. And you can check your list throughout the day to make sure you're completing the necessary tasks. But another, perhaps more powerful form of accountability to make sure that you get things done is to have an accountability partner. And for some of us, we need a business coach. And if you don't have a coach, then here's how to do it, but you still have to hold yourself accountable. Take a task that you've been procrastinating on and break it into small pieces. And then set deadlines for each step. You heard about that. Then next, go tell someone else. Let someone know your plan and ask them to check upon you on your progress. You know, another one of my coaches trained by him is, his name was my throat on my head. Let me look over here. Marshall Goldsmith. Whoops. And one of the things Marshall Goldsmith says, and he's one of the #1 top executive coaches in the world. He coaches like the head of the World Bank and people like that, right? Big, big, big people. And one of the things he says is, Although I'm an executive coach, I procrastinate too. And so while he's very organized on all of these things, he says, listen, I need to have an accountability partner. And he has somebody who has been calling him every single evening for the last 30 years. He says, this person calls me and asks me, must say 10 or 15 questions. And those questions are related to things that he wants to work on. And they'll ask him, did you do this? Did you do that? On a scale of 1 to 10, how did you do with this? And he has that. This person is there. And he knows that every single night, this person is going to, and he pays them to do it, this person is going to call them and ask him these 10 questions every single night. So let somebody else know and ask them to check upon you on your progress. It could be a spouse, a partner, a parent, neighbor, buddy, or like this person. Accountability increases your desire to accomplish your tasks. Now, guys, we have to get rid of the excuses. Some of you may have heard me talk about the concept of operating above and below the point of power. When we operate below the point of power, we will blame everybody else, we give excuses, and now we are in denial that we need to change. We are all prone to procrastination. It is up to you to determine if those habits are getting in the way of accomplishing your goals or even harming your health. We come up with all sorts of creative reasons why today just isn't the right time to start or finish. Too busy, too broke, too stressed, too risky, too old, too uncertain, too inexperienced, too young, too disruptive. Everything starts with a two. And once in a while, those reasons are valid, but more often than not, they are starting with the E, simply excuses. It's essential to examine your excuse. Ask yourself. This is where it comes back again to taking ownership, being accountable, and being responsible. Guys, I'm sorry, everybody come on, we want to eliminate procrastination, and we're thinking somehow somebody else is going to do it, or there's some magic formula. There isn't. It comes back again to our choices. Are we going to operate above the point of power? Are we going to take ownership, be accountable, and be responsible for the things? Or are we going to find excuses and blame others? So what we need to do is it's essential to examine your excuses. I want everybody to write down now, what are the things, write down, what are the things I'm procrastinating on? What are the top 5 things that I know I'm procrastinating on, that I know I need to deal with? What are they? And decide today, listen, we always say no more than 3, but you can go with your 5, right? We have to examine the excuses. What are the excuses? Because that's what they are. Is it valid, or is there a deeper reason for putting it off? And once you identify the why, you can find the right solution to get you going. Now, guys, if we want to accomplish more, some of us may confuse procrastination with laziness, but that's not necessarily so, because some of us are very hard workers. But as you now know, being lazy has nothing to do with it. At the fundamental core, and I want you to listen to this, we procrastinate when we allow emotions. That's what it boils down to. There is some emotion that we're allowing to influence our motivation. What is stopping you? What is the feeling? What is the emotion? Stop overthinking how much needs to be done and just start. Use the 2-minute rule. Just start. And then allow yourself to take breaks if needed, and keep in mind why task X, Y, and Z needs to be completed to accomplish your goals. The formula for change, dissatisfaction times vision. What is my why? Why am I doing this? To overcome pain and to gain the pleasure of what I want to have. That's why. Be clear on what that is. So don't allow those emotions Now, I'm going to play this video. Now, some of you may remember this guy called Bob Newhart. Now, I'm going to tell you something. He's going to teach you something, and it's very simple enough, right? So, just watch this video with me. Oh dear, what happened a while ago? Let me close this back. Where did my video go?
Dr. Switzer?
Pay
Yes,
attention.
come in. I'm just washing my hands.
I'm Catherine Bigman. Janet Carlisle referred me.
Oh, yes. Still being buried alive in a box.
Yes, that's me. Should I lay down?
Oh, no, we don't do that anymore. Just have a seat. And let me tell you a bit about our billing. I charge $5 for the first 5 minutes, and then absolutely nothing after that. How does that sound?
That sounds great. Too good to be true, as a matter of fact.
Well, I can almost guarantee you that our session won't last the full 5 minutes. Now, we don't do any insurance billing, so you would either have to pay in cash or by check.
Wow, okay.
And I don't make change.
All right.
And go.
Go.
Well,
What?
tell me about the problem that you wish to address.
Oh, okay. Well, I have this fear of being buried alive in a box. I start thinking about being buried alive and I begin to panic.
Has anyone ever tried to bury you alive in a box?
No, but truly thinking about it does make my life horrible. I mean, I can't go through tunnels or be in an elevator or in a house, anything boxy.
So what you're saying is you're claustrophobic.
Yes, that's it.
All right, well, let's go, Catherine. I'm going to say 2 words to you right now. I want you to listen to them very, very carefully. Then I want you to take them out of the office with you and incorporate them into your life.
Well, shall I write them down?
Well, if it makes you comfortable, it's just 2 words. We find most people can remember them.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay, here they are. Stop it!
I'm sorry?
Stop it!
Stop it?
Yes, S-T-O-P, new word, I-T.
So, what are you saying?
You know, it's funny. I say 2 simple words, and I cannot tell you the amount of people who say exactly the same thing you're saying. I mean, this is not Yiddish, Catherine. This is English. Stop it.
So, I should just stop it.
There you go. I mean, you don't want to go through life being scared of being buried alive in a box, do you? I mean, that sounds frightening.
It is.
Then stop it.
I can't. I mean, it's been with me since childhood.
No, we don't go there. Just stop it.
So, I should just stop being afraid of being buried alive in a box.
You got it. Good go. Well, it's only been 3 minutes, so that will be $3.
Actually, I only have a 5, so
Well, I don't make change.
then I guess I'll take the full 5 minutes.
Fine. All right. Well, what other problems would you like to address?
I'm bulimic. I stick my fingers down my throat.
Stop it! What are you, nut of some kind? Don't do that.
But I'm compelled to. My mom used to call me
No,
fatty.
No, we don't go there.
But I've been having this dream.
No, we don't go there either.
But my horoscope did say.
We definitely don't go there. Just stop it. What else?
Well, I have self-destructive relationships with men.
Stop it! You want to be with a man, don't you?
Yes.
Well, then stop it. Don't be such a big baby.
I wash my hands a lot.
That's all right.
It is?
I wash my hands all the time. There's a lot of germs out there. Yeah, don't worry about that one.
I'm afraid to drive.
Well, stop it! How are you going to get around? Get in the car and drive, you kook. Stop it!
You stop it! You stop it!
What's the problem, Kathy?
I don't like this. I don't like this therapy at all. You're just telling me to stop it.
And you don't like that.
No, I don't.
So you think we're moving too fast? Is that it?
Yes. Yes, I do.
All right, then let me give you 10 words that I think will clear everything up for you. You want to get a pad and a pencil for this one?
All right.
Are you ready? All right, here are the 10 words. Stop it or I'll bury you alive in a box!
All right, folks. So, that was my kind of last advice to you. You heard her giving all the reasons for everything, all the challenges, all the things, and bottom line, what do we need to do? Just stop it. Absolutely. So, folks, thank you all for joining me today. Now, before I leave, I want you to remember that Kim just put inside there the action diary list, so you can use to help you to eat your frog first for the day and to organize it and to put the time slots that you're going to be doing things. And I hope you have learned how to identify the reasons behind your procrastination and gain some techniques for breaking through so you can start accomplishing your goals, folks, and gain the success you deserve. I have this thing, live your purpose. Each of us are here for a purpose, for a reason, and to live to your highest potential. And so if any of you have any questions around any of our programs, and you have been delaying even having that accountability coach in your business or addressing things that you need the help with the first steps, then please just put in the chat, I'm ready, or email Kimberly afterwards and let her know that you want to further that discussion with one of our coaches so that we can help you. But you have got to stop it. All right. Now, I want to share one last thing, and I need your help. Many of you are parents. Many of you have young people that you know of. And, our vision in Jamaica is Jamaica Abundance through business re-education. And we are educating and re-educating business owners and developing you as leaders. And part of that is building a team. And this is how we go about one company at a time, one leader at a time, impacting Jamaica. And we've been doing that for the last 12 years. Well, our Action Coach Foundation globally has started a program called Young Entrepreneur Smart Start, which is free. It's an online business program, which is 12 modules. And they're going through this program with Brad Sugars, and it is free. What are we trying to do? We're trying to we're going beyond just you as business owners and leaders to our young people. And this program that we have, although it says ages 18 to 22, I've actually dropped it. We're going through 16 to 22. So if you know young persons. And Coach Moses and Kimberly online are all guest certified instructors, as am I. And we had a recent graduation where we just had some of our graduates come into the office. Some of these had won awards, best pitch of the video pitch and best vision board. And so Coach Moses is also, in addition to being a coach in Westmoreland, he's also the chairman of Manning's High School, and he's also the president of the Westmoreland Chamber of Commerce. And as we know, Westmoreland is really having a lot of issues, but we're starting another cohort of our young people, and everything is done online. So they're going online, they get the link, they just sign up, which is totally free. And they go through the videos and they will have different projects. So they will have to submit a business plan. They have to do a video pitch, which is judged not by us, by the team overseas in our Action Coach Global office. And they also have to do a vision board. And what we're trying to do is to encourage young people to consider entrepreneurship and not just, coming out of school and getting a job. But the principles that we teach are very similar to what we teach you as business owners. And so it helps to help them with their mindset, with their thinking. And it's been an amazing program. And I just want to hear you listen to one young lady. She's from Westmoreland, and her name is Crystal King. Just listen to
I
her.
would say to persons.
Hold on. You ready? Okay, go ahead.
I would say to persons that they should join this program because it is a big opportunity to develop in the business world. You will gain experience as well as knowledge. It helps to develop you mentally as well as inspire you to go after what you want.
When I listen to her speak, it just, all of us, as we are there, we right now at this moment in time, there's another graduation that is occurring online with our international office, where we have two more of our young people, Kanika, Rust, and Crystal herself also are going to be receiving their finalists for another award. And these are people, folks, that would have been there. And had we not had this program, would not have been aware of it, of the knowledge. I remember one of the young people saying to me, she has been searching. She's the head girl of Manning's High School, and she did the program. And one of the things she said is, I have been searching for this program all my life. I'm looking at this young lady, I'm mostly 18 or 19, and she's telling me she's been searching for this program all her life. I want you to help us to find people like these young people. It is totally free. They come on, it's self-paced, they go and online. So it's a link. Kim, put the link in the chat for me. There it is. She has put it inside there. And let me just bring it up on the screen so you see it. Right? So here we go. So this is the website. So the link that Kim has inside, and all they have to do is click here to apply. And you have to be between the ages of 16 to 22. They will go on, it's self-paced, but you'll have a check-in with our local coaches here every other week once it starts. And Kim, when does it start again? Please remind me, I'm so bad on the dates. Kim?
My apologies, repeat.
Yeah, when does it start?
The week of September 13th.
September 13th, thank you so much. So September 13th, so guys, please share the link, send it out. Many of those persons that you hear me speaking about, this video, these pictures here with these young people, some of them, one of them was just graduating from high school, you understand? And some of them, Tajay, he's here, big thinking, big dreams. All of them are on their way. Michaela, to achieving big, big goals. They have dreams about businesses that they want to start, have already started. Kanika Russia has her swim business, swim coaching business, and so on. So I really want you guys to encourage our young people. And as I said, it is totally free. So give the gift of abundance, love, and caring by sending this out to the young people. It could be your children, it could be your neighbors, people who you know would be influenced by this. Give that gift to someone today. Just send the link out and have them apply. All right, so folks, we are now at the end. So thank you very much again for being a part of the session today. And I hope that you will all implement what you have learned. And as I said, if you need further assistance, just reach out to us and let us know. And thank you. No, sorry, somebody's hand was raised. I just realized that. Let me unmute you so that you can ask. And if anybody has any questions, allow participants to unmute themselves. All right, great. I'm not seeing whose hand is raised. Oh, Satchel. You may unmute yourself. Satchel. And Nikki.
Hi, Miss Uchoy.
Yes.
I know you from a previous life. I am interested in the certified discourse. Do you offer that?
Yes, so actually we have, it's not a discourse, you take a disc assessment, but we actually have Kimberly, who is online, is our certified disc practitioner. We actually have an upcoming webinar, and that will be on September, is it the 15th, Kim? Where we'll be talking more about disc and how to use it to attract, retain, and build teams. And you can actually purchase a disc assessment from us. So Kim, you can put in the link as well as to where you can purchase your disc assessment.
Okay.
Store. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Nikisha. Nikisha? Hello? Nikisha, I see your hand up. You have to unmute. Unable to unmute.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I got the privilege now. Perfect. I was getting an error message that I couldn't unmute. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for this session. This has been very helpful. My question around the YES program, I see there is an age range. It's for young entrepreneurs. That absolutely beautiful. I think that is definitely where we should start. Is there any available for those over 22?
Well, the over 22 is our coaching programs. All right. So what we're doing here is for young people to learn, but for the persons who are over 22 and have a business, you can come into our coaching programs. So if you're interested in learning about them, we have things as simple as reading a book. We have our Action Club workshop, which is coming up we have one starting in October as well, which is online and in person in Savlamar. And then we have our online 5 Pillars to Business Mastery program that you can purchase. But all of these are not free. Okay, so unfortunately, over 22, you will have to actually purchase and come into a program with us. Is that clear, Nikisha? Okay, I'm not sure what is happening. All right, if there are no other questions, folks, I'm not sure if Nikisha has heard me. I'm not even seeing her. I think she dropped off. Yeah, she's still there. All right, okay. So folks, I'm going to ask you all to have a wonderful afternoon. It's now morning still, so wonderful rest of the day. And please share the link, which is in the chat, with any young persons aged 16 to 22 and have them sign up. And if you're interested in taking a next step for yourself, then please just message Kimberly or myself, and we will be very happy to discuss a further step for you. All right, thank you so much.